Good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of Around the Sty with me, Commissioner DNet. Now, a notable thing took place this week. A trade between Casimir Sweater and UNI Caught Many Trout took place where John Lester was sent over for Seth Smith and Castro from Houston. This is a huge trade for DNet as he has solidified his lineup and probably will not have any trouble going through the rest of the season. So let's dive into the matchups. The first matchup was the Knob Jockeys versus She's Not Worth Eating. The Knob Jockeys lost this 386.5 to 420. I spoke with Caleb after he pre-ordered a year's supply of ketchup, and he told me, back-to-back wins, my team is just getting started. And for last week, Yachts, your team sucks. Back-to-back losses. Your team is actually performing how we thought it would after the draft. The next matchup was the Minor League Motherfuckers versus Team Yeah Jeets Yeah. The Minor League Motherfuckers took this 411 to 257.5. I caught up with Dale after leaving him a negative tip because his weighting skills are subpar, and he told me that once I saw I was playing Team Yeah Jeets Yeah, I knew it would be an easy week. Your team's a joke, and so is the owner. The next matchup was Team Zach Sauce versus Rim Job, a 51-year-old. Team Zach Sauce took this 424.5 to 354. I spoke with John just after Kat told him his plans for the week, and he told me that, I'm not sure which is worse, the fact that Bruce is 1-7 or that he only has 6 starting pitchers on his team. I expect a lot more from a guy who came into this league with all this fanfare. Get it together, Bruce. Very true. Bruce, I don't know what you're doing right now, but pick it up. The next matchup was the Bleacher Creatures versus Casimir Sweater. The Bleacher Creatures took this 475 to 385.5. I actually caught up with Tim minutes after he got out of the shower, and this is what he had to say.
Manager Nunez, any comments about this week's matchup?
Man, it's always good to get a win. It's always good to have win streaks. I love beating teams who are just worthless and don't belong in this league. And this matchup ended up being as distant as our friendship. So, long story short, a win's a win. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tim, for the words. I appreciate that. The last matchup was the UNI Caught Many Trouts versus Wright in the Pujols. UNI Caught Many Trout took this 416 to 349. Back in the win column, I spoke with Denak after his Bosley's hair transplant appointment, and he said that, my team dropped the ball for a few weeks. All championship teams go through this. Nonetheless, now that we are off cruise control, we don't expect any matchup to be even close. So they're looking forward to the rest of the season. And that is the matchup for this week. After the commercial break, we will come back and finish up this edition of Around the Sty. And welcome back to this edition of Around the Sty. Here are the Week 9 matchups. The Knob Jockeys versus UNI Caught Many Trout. The Minor League Motherfuckers versus Team Zach Sauce. The Bleacher Creatures versus Wright in the Pujols. She's Not Worth Eating versus the Rim Job of 51-year-olds. And Team Yeah Jeets Yeah versus the Casimir Sweaters. And that will do it for this edition of Around the Sty. Until next time, pigs, stay filthy. Tammy, can you get my pedicure appointment set up? 3:30.